I want to have a candid conversation with you about a couple of very difficult challenges that people face. These are challenges that I personally deal with. I'm talking about mental illness and abuse. Now, this may seem way off topic, but it is not at all. I've coached so many people, trained so many people who have opened up to me about the challenges that they face with these problems and the challenges that their loved ones face, and they're looking for help. Now, it depends on the statistics that you look at, but roughly 1 in 4 individuals personally deal with either mental illness or abuse. That means that either you are right now, or you know someone who is, someone you work with and care about. And I believe that I can help. My goal with this video is just a little bit to give you hope and to give you, more importantly, an action plan that you can follow to beat your odds. And if it's not you that's dealing with this, then a starting point of a conversation that you can have with a friend. Now, I did a lot of thinking about the best way to reach people, and I believe it begins with tearing down the wall of perfection. You know, that wall that we all build up? I certainly built it up. We do it to protect ourselves, to control things. But what it really does is it prevents us from getting help and receiving help. It's really a prison of perfection. I'm going to tear down my wall of perfection and build a bridge of vulnerability by giving you just a taste of what it's like for me, someone who deals with these issues, in my truly darkest moments. Now, we're going to start at a dark place, but we're ultimately going to go to a place of hope and encouragement. But first, the darkness. This is what it is like for me. Now, this happens, it used to happen a lot, but now it's maybe 3-4 times per year, which is still too much, as you're about to experience. This is what a truly dark moment is for me. I'll be going through my day, everything's fine, everything's normal, and then it's as if someone breaks into my home and abducts me. It's as if they take me away from everyone I know and care about, my family, and they remove me to an isolated location where I cannot be reached. It's very important. Then it's as if they put me into a dark room and strap me to a chair. And then it's as if a torturer walks into the room. And he sort of sneaks up next to me, leans into my ear, and says, "You're worthless. You think you've had success? No, you've been lucky, but most of the time, look at everything that you've done that's failed. Those people that you think love you and care about you, when they say nice things to you, what they're really doing is pitying you and mocking you. You remember what you did today? You remember what you did last week, that horrible thing you did last year? How can you live with yourself? The world would probably be better without you in it." Now, that's pretty rough, right? But really, it's far rougher. Because what I just described to you happens thousands more times in the space of a couple of hours. And it happens tens of thousands of times faster than what I just described to you. Because the room is not a room. It's my body. And the torture is not a person. It's my brain. I was dealing with the aftermath of one of these conversations, or with myself, with my brain having with me, and the dark moment, and I was talking to a therapist, a psychologist who I've worked with for many years. And he said something to me that's sort of the basis of this video that I'm giving to you. What he said sounds a whole lot like the torture, but the distinction is important. Listen carefully. He said, "You probably shouldn't be alive, but you are. You, statistically speaking, shouldn't have a loving, caring relationship with your wife, but you do. You certainly shouldn't be a caring parent to your children, but you are. And you shouldn't have had the career success that you've had, but you have. What you've accomplished is miraculous. You are a statistical anomaly. It's a beautiful phrase. And it's what I want to talk to you about with the system. Now, why would he say this, first of all? Why would he give me such low odds? What are the statistics he's talking about? Well, there's the story that I tell in my time management training about how I was diagnosed as off-the-charts ADHD. And that story is 100% true. But that doesn't account for those kind of negative odds. What he's really talking about is the fact that from a very young age, I was repeatedly abused by someone close to me. I'm speaking in terms of psychological and emotional abuse, but I still deal with the fallout from that. He also was talking about the debilitating anxiety that I experienced from time to time. But most of all, he was talking about the more complete diagnosis of what I deal with, which is bipolar disorder. This means that I experience the extreme, exaggerated perceptions of reality that accompany the mania and the darkest despair that comes with the depressive swings. And sometimes both at the same time. And it's in those moments that I experience the truly darkest of everything that I just shared with you. But I'm still here. And that's the system. How? How am I still here? How did I beat those odds? How, more importantly, can you? Because you can. You can be a statistical anomaly. You can have a loving, caring relationship. You can have career success beyond what is expected for someone dealing with your challenges. Now, before I share the system with you, a couple of disclaimers important. Number one, this is not medical or psychological advice. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but it is an encouragement, as you're about to learn, to speak with those people, to speak with doctors, to speak with therapists. Number two, this is not a perfect system. I'm not holding it out like that. There's no such thing as a perfect system. There's only the next draft. Now, I'm 43 now, so I've been dealing with this since I was very young. I don't know, 10, 12, 13. So it's about 30 years of development on the system, but it's your first draft. So take it and evolve it in a way that works for you. So step number one, get ongoing medical help. Many of these issues, especially mental illness, revolve around things that are happening physiologically that are causing your brain to misfire. I've personally found a lot of strength from working with a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is different than a psychologist. They are a medical doctor trained in disorders of the brain, and they're trained in a variety of different treatment options. It took me a little shopping to find the person who worked for me, but once I found my guy, it's changed everything. And I strongly recommend that you be open to working with medical doctors of all kinds, especially a psychiatrist. Number two, get ongoing cognitive training. Cognitive training meaning retraining the brain. And if you've dealt with mental illness or abuse, your brain has learned unproductive methods of perceiving the world and perceiving yourself. And again, working with a clinical psychologist who is trained in helping me repattern the way that I think about things has been so valuable. It took some shopping, again, to find the person who worked for me, but it's amazing. I've worked with him for years, and we meet a couple of times a month, and I recommend that you consider this as an ongoing investment in your life. Number three, find a trusted friend. Now, this might take a little work, it might be hard to do until you've worked with a doctor or a therapist. But a trusted friend is valuable because they give you love, and more importantly, they give you perspective. It's not their job to fix you, but they can help you see things more clearly. Thankfully for me, my trusted friend has been my wife. And I can go to her, for instance, those times when I have anxiety, and I can say, oh, I can't believe I said that. That was so embarrassing. And she'll say, no, it's not as bad as you're making it out to be. You're crazy. We'll speak candidly like that. But the idea is she gives me perspective, and I'm so grateful for it. And a friend can give you perspective. Number four, live a healthy life in a safe environment. Now there's a lot to unpack with that. And really, it's a doctor's job, it's a therapist's job to help you determine what that means for you. But I will share three things of what it's meant for me. It made a huge difference. Number one, sleep. Getting an adequate amount of sleep at a consistent time every night has helped me build a more stable foundation for mental health. Number two, remove an abusive element. It took me years to work up the courage to distance myself from this person, but when I made that choice, it was one of the most powerful things, because it's so hard to stop listening to that brain torturing you if you have a real human being doing the same thing. And then number 3, this is going to sound controversial. Please don't take it that way, because it's not. I removed access to guns from my life. This is speaking as someone dealing with mental illness to people with mental illness. Guns are too quick. They're too final. They're too easy. And I can honestly say, with no exaggeration, had I had access to a gun, I would not be here right now. If you want some really interesting reading, Google Harvard medical gun suicide. A lot of stats, a lot of interesting stuff there. Number 5 is to have an emergency backup plan. Even with the best doctors, the best therapists, even with friends who are supporting you and caring about you, sometimes it's just going to go too far. It's just going to be more than you can handle. At least it has been for me. In those truly dark moments, I have to do something, something radical. First thing that I try to do is try to wake up the brain by doing something physically. Run, push-ups, jump in the shower and turn it on cold. Something to arrest that circular thinking and stop it so that it gives a place for rational thought to enter in. You can certainly have a friend on speed dial that you can say if it gets really bad, they can take you to the emergency room. I know that sounds extreme, but honestly, you should also consider calling 911. If your heart, which is an organ in your body, is trying to kill you by having a heart attack, what do? You pick up the phone and you dial 911. If your brain, which is an organ in your body, is actively trying to kill you, you're having a medical emergency. Please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and dial 911. Now that's the system. It's a starting point. There's a lot there for you to figure out, but it starts with going and talking to doctors and talking to therapists. And I believe there are gifted people. Maybe you haven't found them yet, but there are people out there who want to help you and can help you, just like they've helped me. I believe that you can beat your odds. You can have a loving, caring relationship. You can have career success. You can be the kind of person that you want to be, not just in spite of these challenges, but because of them. They will make you stronger. I believe that things will get better. This is not coming from someone who's blowing sunshine at you and telling you that everything's wonderful and that you're great. What I am saying is this is from someone who has been in the very darkest of places repeatedly. And yet, every time I've learned, if I just hold on and make it to the other side, things always get better. I believe you can beat your odds. I believe in you.